Hello there, thanks a lot for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and check this out. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame member and influential R&B songwriter and performer Little Willie John as the headliner here, of course. Boy, he only lived to the age of 30, but he made the Billboard Hot 100 chart 14 times, okay? So Little Willie was active from 1955 to 1966, and today I'm going to show you a couple of his very coolest concert posters known from right smack dab in the middle of that run. So the first one is from 1960, the spring of 60, from Klamath Falls, Oregon, and he was only 22 years old, but for heaven's sake he already had 11 top 20 R&B hits. Let me do that number again. 22 years old, already had 11 top 20 hits on the R&B charts. Just amazing. And the monster of those was Fever. It was #1 for a month. You know, Peggy Lee did a very famous cover of it, and it was a hit in 1956. By the way, Willie was only 18 then when he wrote and had a hit with Fever. And luckily it's on the poster in the song titles, front row center there. I'll move it a little bit closer so you can check them out and see the song titles as I go through them. Other song titles on this poster for Little Willie, you've got Let Them Talk, which was his most recent charter, hit #11. And you've got Talk to Me, which commonly is, you know, when a song title repeats, the poster company will abbreviate it, so it's down to just one Talk to Me on the poster. That was his second biggest hit, top 5 R&B record from 1958, so it's great to have his top 2 hits ever on this poster. And you've got My Love Is, that was his most recent 45, but that was a total non-charter. And then finally the fifth song is I Need Your Love So Bad, which was yet another top 5 R&B hit for Little Willie John in 1956. Now, one thing I love about Tillman's for sure is the morphing split fountain effect, they call it, where you've got the color changing from top to bottom. And as you can see, this goes from red into blue, fully encompassing Little Willie John there, and then down into black at the bottom. So the artist in the middle usually shares the colors, and sure enough, somebody that gets both the blue and the black color there in the middle is Marv Johnson. Now, boy, is he a historic guy or what. He was the artist that Berry Gordy Jr. selected for his first ever single in what eventually would become the Motown Records empire. That record was Come to Me, and it came out in May of 1959, and thankfully it's on the poster, making the poster all the more fun, and it got up to #6, Rhythm and Blues. And the other 2 song titles for Marv Johnson, no slouches either, the 2 biggest hits of his career. First of all, you've got What It Takes. I mean, that was a top 10 pop hit, along with R&B, and also top 10 for the Dave Clark 5 years later. And I Love the Way You Love was also a top 10 record on both charts. And then the third act is actually, of course, the backing band for the night. You've got the Upsetters, and I often have to explain on a poster that was Little Richard's backing band. Well, guess what? Hooray for Tillman, they actually say it. Formerly Little Richard's band. See that under the Upsetters. And Little Richard, of course, by this point in 1960 had joined the ministry, and so his backing group, the Wild Guys, the Upsetters, had to find something else to do, and they often toured. You know, they're the band on these posters. Okay, so this is a Tillman, so let's play judge for a moment of poster graphics. I love to do this. My 2 favorite poster printing companies ever are Tillman and Globe posters. So you've got a Little Willie John from 1960 from Tillman, and let's hold up a 1961 from Globe posters in Baltimore, Little Willie John. Ooh, killer, right? I'll bet your very first impression is that Globe wins. Well, that's just probably based sheerly on eye appeal, I don't know, but you know, they're definitely entirely different styles, so I'll get a little bit closer in here for you so you can see these. Interestingly, they do use the same publicity photo of Little Willie John. It's just that Tillman chose to, you know, run the whole photo, and Globe decided to just carve the face out, the head out, and have the floating head effect on their poster. But, you know, let's face it, Globe's huge splash of pink here really, you know, that wins over a lot of people, including me. I'm not saying I'm making a final choice, but I mean, this is just such, you know, such a strong point of this poster. But, you know, there should be other considerations in choosing which you like better. I mean, the Tillman has Fever on it, and this doesn't, his monster hit, right? And it has Marv Johnson, the very first ever Motown artist on it. and this has nothing but the backup band, so that's another one in Tillman's favor. And it calls the Upsetters Little Richard's, formerly Little Richard's Band, which is way cool. Here they just have a song title. And the Tillman one is a year and a half older also. And a lot of people feel with these posters, boy, the older the better. But in its favor, I mean, what do I have to say? Just the general appearance of this thing is so killer, just so beautiful with Globe's graphics. By the way, it's from December of 1961 from Topeka, Kansas. So it's got the killer graphics, it's got the top 10 hit on there, Sleep. I should move in so you can see that. Yeah, top 10 hit on there, Sleep. It's got bigger song titles, and Little Willie John's face is larger as well. And that's a nice help. You kind of like that. But boy, I'll tell you, if you're a Beatles fan, I think I know, and a Beatles historian, which one you might lean toward, because take a look at that. In the box, with the spinning record and all the action lines and musical notes, Leave My Kitten Alone. And, wow, holy cats. Okay, come on, how should I say this? That the Beatles recorded Leave My Kitten Alone, just like they had recorded, you know, other Motown hits like You've Really Got a Hold on Me and Please Mr. Postman. It was not a Motown hit, of course, but the Beatles did R&B covers in the early days, let's face it. And they recorded it for their 1964 album, Beatles for Sale, but ended up putting it in the can and not using it. And many years later, just as the CD era was hitting its stride, the compact disc reissues, Paul McCartney was asked, how come you guys don't put out all your outtakes and all your, you know, rarities and all this stuff? And McCartney completely, with a straight face and completely seriously said, you know, we don't really have anything that's interesting. He said, all we have is Leave My Kitten Alone. You know, McCartney said, that's all I can think of, and that would be worth coming out, but the rest is just like false starts and stuff. Well, I think McCartney was proved pretty wrong with the wild success, both sales-wise and popularity, of the Beatles anthology series. And of course, on that series, there is Leave My Kitten Alone, and it's a rocker sung by John Lennon. So, man, to see that, you know, presented that way on a Little Willie John concert poster is just such a highlight for a Beatles fan. So, boy, a couple of really cool Little Willie John concert posters here, again from 60 and this one 61. What's kind of funny also is that when they, you know, this is the tour blank portion, and then this part is printed in show to show after all this has been, you know, printed weeks or days ago. And with this particular poster, the first time they went to print in this information, they put it in upside down the wrong way. So on the back, you've got that, which is really fun and unusual to see. And, you know, you could imagine if they accidentally posted it on walls this way. People would really wonder what the heck the show is, but then they put the posters through the correct way, and you got it up there on the top. Boy, Little Willie John and all his greatness, and so sorry we lost him at 30, but he left behind some great posters in his wake, and we enjoy them to this day. So, thanks a lot for coming by. Have a nice one. See you soon. Bye-bye.